Hi, my name is Robert Odle. My business is Metallurgical Viability. I'll turn 70 this year. I've worked 51 years in the extractive metallurgy business in a wide variety. I started off actually working in a copper smelter, secondary copper smelter, Southwire. I worked in a hydrometallurgical plant AMAX both places as a senior process engineer. I worked Anaconda Copper Center, Research Center. I've worked in wastewater treatment, corrosion, Flor Daniel as a principal process engineer. The biggest project being a magnesium project in Australia. It was a $1 billion project, AMC, Australian Magnesium Corporation. I was the principal engineer for Fluor and designing the plant. The last 20 years I've had a mixture of day jobs and consulting. The last 10 years or so has been mostly consulting. I've seen the demise of the extractive metallurgy industry in this country. To me, it's personal. It's sad. But more relevant, I think I can help a company, mostly junior companies, that are struggling with metallurgy projects. I've got quite a few skill sets, some traditional skill sets like what process engineers do inside of a plant and what process engineers do in designing a new facility, process flow diagrams, P&IDs, all the usual stuff. But I think you can get that from a lot of people. I have a few unique skills, and I'll mention one that's a technical skill first, and then I'll mention what I think is more important. I build techno-economic models. I use VBA behind Excel and build a material balance that generally starts out to be stoichiometric, and then it's adjusted by laboratory results or bench scale or pilot plant results, and so it's modified to reflect reality. I can do the heat balances off of that. Even sometimes I hire someone to do some METSIM, and then I use the results from that to help my modeling. But what's unique about my modeling, and I think more people should be doing it, is the finances are intertwined into the model, so that you change some assumptions in the model, hit the button, and you see how your unit costs change, you see how your gross profits change, and it's amazing the number of times that your intuition is wrong. You can use these models to make your laboratory work more efficient. Why work on a unit operation that has very little to do with your profitability and that may already be commercially proven? Pick those steps that have an impact on your bottom line, a strong impact. Work on those steps, optimize them, understand which steps in the process impact your unit cost. Understand the marketing forces, the utility costs, the project conditions that are helping your project be successful or not successful. And when should you do that? You should do it right in the very beginning. The number of times that I've seen projects started and people assume that if it works as promised, they'll make money. It turns out a lot of times if it works exactly like you think it's going to work, you still don't make money. We live in a very competitive world. The Chinese don't play fair. Things that should make money in a reasonable world don't make money. We're up against some very tough conditions to make a profitable project. And it's no reason that there is a strong reason why we've gone from being, when I got out of school, Arizona made more copper than the rest of the world put together. Now there's resource limitations and environmental laws and labor rates and etc. But there's also a heavy element of competition from the Chinese that's not based on an economic reality that we understand. So, but that's just the way the world is. So you've got to be smarter and very clever to make a project that will not only compete on an operational cost basis, but that is good enough to entice investors. And I believe the Chinese, and whether by fault or by wisdom, have set most metal prices at a level that discourages investment. It's tough to get a good project going. But this is aggravated by the fact that, you know, small companies like I work for typically don't have enough resources, and they don't use the resources well. I'm typically hired to build a model, or, you know, help with my process engineering skills, or look at, you know, the viability of the chemistry, that kind of stuff, which I'm pretty good at. But I think I have a value far beyond that. I've been down this road a lot of times. Those 51 years are with a dozen plus companies, and I've always worked on projects, even inside of companies, and I've been project leader a lot of times, been one of the team members a lot of times. I think companies need to see their project in context of the way the world works, the way an engineering company works, the way the Chinese compete. There's a lot of, even in small projects, a lot of petty bickering for power and stuff, because companies don't have a vision of what they're trying to do. It is important to bring the metals industry back to the United States. It's important for jobs. It's important for know-how. There's not a lot of junior Robert Odles in the world. And it's not because I'm all that smart. It's because we're swimming up the stream in this business. It's a very tough business. And you have to be shrewd. You have to use your resources well. You have to sell your story. And you have to sell your story a little bit better than just it's going to make money for somebody. If you want to make money, you probably don't want to be in this business. Well, if making money, of course, is the only reason you're in this business, I don't think this is the right business to pick. I think I'd look at technical startups and stuff. So you have to frame your business in a wider context. Like, why does it matter if the U.S. has the ability to make magnesium or rare earths? What does it matter that we have the know-how to compete and to frame our own destiny? It's a bigger game. You see that game being reflected in our political environment, which I'm not going to get into, but it's we're doing something important. There's consequences for us being competent or incompetent. There's consequences for our country if we use our resources wisely. I think I've done this enough and seen, unfortunately, far too many projects that are run poorly to have a pretty good idea of how to structure a project, how to focus a project, how to keep it on a straight path to success. It's not an easy job, and I'm no miracle worker, but I certainly can list off a lot of behaviors that are very counterproductive. And I think I can help a company focus and go toward their objective in an efficient manner. And also, I think very often, I hate to say this, but the correct decision is just stopping. You know, you evaluate what you have, and it's the wrong horse to be taking you across the stream, and you go back to the drawing boards. But when you do get one of those ideas, it's a really shame to let a good idea that has its potential for being profitable flounder because of lack of clear focus by the project team on what their mission is and what the value is of what they're doing. Well, that's where I think I can help with a bigger picture. And if you're not interested in the bigger picture, I can build some techno-economic models that will help you focus on the bigger picture. I'm also pretty good at corrosion, especially corrosion inside of a chemical plant or in a metallurgical facility. The protocols and the steps that you need to go through to make sure you have the right materials, and also to make sure that it's the most economical material and that you run your process in a way that minimizes corrosion. Anyway, I've got a lot of skill sets. I think my perspective in projects is probably the most valuable. And if you have a project I could help you with, I'm more than eager, and I hope I've got another good 5 years in me. Thanks for your time, and have a good day.